Hello, you miserable bastards, and welcome to the Misery Hunters podcast. My name is Jamie Coburn, and joining me is Mark Jardin.
Hello.
Andrew Christie.
Hello.
And Sam Smith.
Good evening.
We put out on Twitter, and we did say in the last podcast as well, we were going to do a mailbag episode. They're our most popular. It's where most of the shit comes out. You guys have asked your questions and we're here to answer, so we may as well just go straight into it. And first off the bat, and I'm not reading these in any particular order other than the order that Mark had given me. Thanks for compiling the list, Mark.
Put them in order of who I liked to who I liked the least.
Alright, so who you liked the most? Kenny Leckie.
Certified good guy.
Which current and or former Saint would make the best Batman? That says in both real life and on film. So
I've got an answer for this. I think that fundamentally Batman is just an absolute dweeb with a strong jaw. And in that regard, I think Stevie Thompson, hands down. He can also handle a weapon, as John McGinn knows.
Well, if he can run about spear people in Gotham.
Yeah.
I reckon if the current team in a movie, it would be Joe Shaughnessy. Kind of has that sort of weird.
He's got the kind of Bruce Wayne look about him.
His voice is too nice, though.
You're right there, Joker.
An Irish Batman, I think, is what the people want.
We're ready.
I'd be all for that.
I reckon I don't know who would actually be physically equipped to be Batman other than Curtis Main.
Alan Power doing it. I think he'd be quite happy to show up in random multi-story car parks and batter 9 folk at once.
While steaming? I'm vengeance and you're listening to You're vengeance.
A podcast that came out a couple of days ago with Alan Power on it. I think it's Offspring, a Glasgow streetwear brand, and I'm sad to announce that Alan Power is a guy who definitely has never had a vaccine.
Oh no.
They asked him what 4 people he would love to, 4 people past the president he would love to share a dinner table with, and one
if
was
you say
Elon
Jordan
Musk.
Peterson here. Fuck.
Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, J-Lo, and I can't remember the other one, Conor McGregor, and I'm like, yep, you are a fucking moron.
I mean,
Alan.
poor J-Lo in that dinner table.
J-Lo is having one of the all-time shite evenings. Watching Joe Rogan still humping and acting out comedy. Horrendous. I think the most likely former Saint to be Batman is Ewan Jorkaeff, because he's a fanny with a rich dad.
Well,
See, he can do what he wants. You know, like his dad's brought in those billions. So if he wants to make up a wee costume and kick about at night with a radio battering folk, then by all means.
I was trying to think of current Batman, like Robert Pattinson, dark, broody, goth essentially, yeah. And I couldn't think of any goths in our team. And then obviously the Twitter account was putting up past Saints, and I should have remembered this just from seeing that he's a family member. But for the hairstyle alone, Ryan Robinson had those curtains. He could easily cover half his face with that just to look somewhat emo.
Also, Gavin Riley is a confirmed Funeral for a Friend fan.
Oh,
so
that's true.
He's a potential goth. If we're talking the Batman, then I think Gavin Riley's maybe got a shout. I don't know how rich his parents are, but
I mean, he does have that sort of rich boy look.
Callum Gallagher definitely had the air of a boy that went to a private school. He's got some hires.
See that gap in Gavin Riley's teeth? I generally think that you remember when rich models were doing that cosmetically to look different because that was the thing. Maybe that's where his gap came from. Next question. Sorry, I've just closed the questions. There we go. Again, this time is from Differently Dave. If you could pick any company in the world to sponsor St. Mirren's shirt next season, who are you choosing and why?
I'm going to step up and answer this first because I think I speak on behalf of all of us as a podcast. The Kibble, for free.
Yeah, I agree.
It's only right. We are. This is our town.
The Kibble on the front and a great
charity.
bunch of lads on the back.
Sorted. Any need for any more?
I think as an actual like serious one for like who you would like to make the kits, probably Adidas.
To make the kits, Adidas, 100%.
Yeah.
But sponsor
the actual sponsor an Adidas kit with fucking the Roll In or something like that, or Cosmos, that would be ideal.
I would like obvious ones. I would obviously say my business, Paisley Craft Beer Co., with the website paisleycraftbeer.com, or Misery Hunters. Although I'd love to get to a level of wealth where you could sponsor a kit and just have your face on it, just like your face in a that the Joe see the Joe Shaughnessy tiger pose that I said on Twitter the other day. See that, just that face cut out on the shirt, excellent.
The players would look like they're going on a stag do though. Is that a football team or are they just going on a stag?
Remember there was that was it Getafe a few years ago that were sponsored by Burger King, and if you lifted the top up to do a Ravanelli, it had the Burger King's face underneath it, so it looked like you were wearing that. Well, I was thinking we could do that, but inside the shirt it would be Mark Yardley doing the bloody big breakfast pose.
Yes, I'm all for that. That's the winner there. Or just have
also teardrop gin, if you know, the finest gin in the room, Sherry and all that.
Which is available at paisleycraftbeer.com, and if you're looking for a good Father's Day gift, I mean, come on.
Also owned by the Kibble.
Like, reading this question, I sort of thought, like, what are the kind of classic football sponsors throughout football kind of thing? And I think the Newcastle Brown Ale, that circular design works really well on the front of my shirt, which Paisley Craft Beer logo could replicate that. That would look really good in the front of your shirt. Also, the one Ajax used to have was it Abin Ambro or something? Remember the one that went vertically? That would look good in Australia. In fact, we had that in the kind of mid-90s, didn't we? The one of the Phoenix Honda.
Phoenix Kia.
Or no sponsor. That would be the way to go. Like, I don't enjoy saying nice things about Celtic, but the fact that they offer their kit with no sponsor, I'm a big fan of that. Like,
I'd love St Mirren to do that, just because like last year was a joke. You had like the main sponsor on the front, right? Fair enough, but you also had the two sponsors on the back and the sleeves. I'm not a walking ad like billboard. I'm no for that. This one required everyone to do a bit of homework. So it's the only question I have prepared in advance. And it is from Chris Daly, who says, I want a haiku from each member on the pros and cons of Curtis Main.
And a big thanks to...
sorry.
No, you go.
No, I was going to say, I'll kick this off with Craig's haiku that he sent on WhatsApp and then didn't bother showing up for the podcast.
Right, on you go. What's Craig offer?
Here we go. So haiku, sticking to the 5-syllable, 7-syllable, 5-syllable kind of structure. Ginger Prince Curtis stole a wage for 9 long months. Now love you, big man.
Oh, that's better than mine. I'll come in with mine because I generally think mine will be the worst. I wrote this about 30 minutes ago and it took me 30 seconds to do. I didn't really think. I just went, yes, that works in the syllable right scheme. That'll do. I just went, Curtis Main striker. His run is like RoboCop, and that's about it.
I think that's beautiful.
See, now I wish I went before you because mine also references a certain 80s film. But so mine is see RoboCop run, stats nerds be damned. The main man got that dog in him.
Oh yeah, that's kind of a bit of fight. That's like if you're actually trying to hype him up.
Yeah.
I think that would be the. I kind of mixed some of those sources. Once mullet, now buzzed, cuts about like a Jordi Akinfenwa post-split Pele.
He also did say, alternatively, a brief Beastie Boys?
Welsh cover band.
A brief Beastie Boys style rap on the same subject. So, I know someone has one prepared, someone else might not, but I have some music lined up just to get you in the flow.
This is going to end my career. Here We Go Again gives you more, nothing lesser. Birdbath up top, he's a relentless high presser. August to April, an uninspiring frontman. Bottom six jobbers, I've taken a dunt man. Fur Park to Pataudry, a bull in the China. A sub under Goody, with Robbo is finer. 10-15 goals from being a number niner. Kinda.
Yeah.
We are taking off.
Call me the chubby Charles Dunn.
That was great.
Oh.
Anybody else got
That
any?
was good. No, I'm too thick for that.
I wrote half one and then shot out with it, so I'll post it online. We'll see.
But fair play, Mark. I like that.
That was good. Good job.
We could probably get a maybe end to the podcast there.
What, for good?
just forever.
I think we might get closed down for that. That critics are describing it as the whitest moment of all time.
I'm all for that, and I'm all for more of that. I might have to sound bite that and then have that as our intro outro now.
Christmas number one.
Please don't soundbite that.
I mean, if anyone wants to make that out of context, Misery Hunters Twitter, that's the perfect first tweet.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, please don't send it to my employer, because I think they would sack me for being a cringeworthy prick.
Yeah, we'll send you another few sound bites if he's interested.
Aye, some behind the scenes ones would get a few people fired. Andrew Wiley has said, Love Street versus Greenhill Road. Pros and cons, what is your preference? I mean, I'm happy to go first in this one. I don't know if it's a pure nostalgia factor, but it'll always be Love Street for me. I just absolutely loved it. The fact that you were going in the North Bank, that bit when you just come up the top of the hill and you start seeing the pitch and the rest of the crowd and that, that was excellent. The fact we also had a massive away stand, which we don't had to deal with, moving people from the family stand for the Old Firm games or anything. That was another handy thing. It's just, it had character. St Mirren Park or Greenhill Road doesn't really have character, but it's starting to give us more memories, which is good. It's feeling a little bit more like home for myself, but I'll always miss Love Street. I
think with Greenhill Road, it's I don't know, we are adding the character. Fair play to the fans for kind of building that up, but it just feels a wee bit cookie cutter. It's a bit like a lot of other stadiums, and obviously over time and as we kind of make more memories, that'll dwindle. But yeah, purely for nostalgia and the memories, it's always going to be Love Street. There's more pubs near Love Street as well.
Yeah,
the pub situation isn't great for Greenhill Road, but.
And it is a shame to see that sort of end of town, the wee barrel closing and stuff like that. You had obviously Cosmos Chippy and the wee paper shop in the corner that sold so many half bottles of Mad Dog. It's the only place the last place I saw the wee tiny bottles of Mad Dog that you could hide to get in the ground. But yeah, that is true. Didn't even think about that part of it.
Love Street's the correct answer, but if you put it to one side, I'm glad that, as you were saying, Andrew, we are now starting to kind of make the case for Greenhill Road being our home, and you can talk about the positives of it now without having to add on, well, it's not Love Street though. There's lots of good stuff about it. One thing I've always loved about the new stadium is how close you feel to the pitch, regardless of where you sit. I don't know another ground, and maybe it's just because this is the one we go to most, but I don't know another ground where you feel like you're that on top of the play like that. I feel like you're right in it. We don't have a big giant coffee cup kiosk though.
Yeah,
it doesn't sell it. So it's not perfect. But
there's been a lot of decent memories at New St Mirren Park or whatever it is. It's Greenhill Road or the Spicer, fucking the Paisley 2021 failed bid arena.
The Kibble Arena.
Yeah, preferably next season, Kibble Arena. That'd be good. We'll actually pay them for the naming rights rather than them pay us. But Love Street will always be what we all remember as being our first memories of going to the football. But there's stuff full. Probably a lot of the younger fans don't really remember going to Love Street at all, which probably I mean, Greenhill Road is essentially home to them, which is weird. There's a lot of lads that will go every week now that never really got to experience what it was like. So it's a bit of a shame, but it definitely does feel like more at home now. The atmosphere's got better, like ever since. I mean, some of the games like early on at Greenhill Road were fucking grim. They were just silent constantly. It was a bit of a weird place to be. It took a lot of time to adjust, but starting to feel a lot better now.
But I was going to say, you're probably a younger person, so you're probably, is most your St Mirren support been in the stadium? So,
like most of like what I can actually properly remember is in Greenhill Road. Like, obviously, was it 2009 we moved?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would have been 10. So, I mean, obviously, I can still remember quite a lot, but like, the bulk of my time supporting St Mirren has been in the new stadium.
That freaks me out.
Aye.
Am I sure I'm allowed to serve you alcohol?
Wanker.
Moving on, Marcus Pollock asks, if last season's starting 11 were animals, what animals would they be? I mean, we don't need to go through the full starting 11, just the squad.
See, I've started this by saying that Connor Ronan would be one of those ants that carries just absolutely everything on his back. Because that's what he did for us for about 3/4 of the season.
Jack Annick would be a werewolf.
Does something mental once a month. Comes tearing out his box.
Surely Brophy is a wolf.
Nah, because Jack Annick actually does look like a human wolf boy thing.
Like Teen Wolf.
Aye. He's got that kind of full beard hair combo that kind of complements it well. Joe Shaughnessy, obviously a tiger, but
yeah. Don't know why I done that. This is an audio podcast.
I've got Matt Miller is one of those endangered snow leopards that you can only see once every few months.
I'd say Curtis Main's a sloth.
That's harsh.
No, it's not. He just has that kind of, like, if you saw a sloth run, you would think RoboCop.
Like we wrote those haikus or nothing.
I don't know how to deconstruct that. That's kind of blown my mind, that sense. I was going to say that I think Alan Power's a honey badger, but I kind of feel like my reality's just been melted in on itself by you talking about a sloth running. I can't picture it.
Goggett should be a rhino. Or a gorilla, or a god.
Or one of those horses that its owners can charge like between $2 and $3 million for every thrust on a stud farm. An absolute stallion. That took a turn.
It did.
I prepared 2 answers for that, and neither of them was comparing Alex Goggett to someone that was paid to shag horses.
You're going to start some rumours if you say Alex Goggett paid to shag horses.
and we'll release a lot more if he doesn't sign.
True.
I mean, the obvious Jim Goodwin, Jack Ross, Snake. I think that's why that question's been put in here.
Honey badgers also fight snakes, so Alan Power could box Jack Ross or Jim Goodwin. Rats,
probably more apt, but
I believe
cockroaches.
Alex Grieve would be a bird that was quite thirsty and would have to frequent bird baths.
That poor boy, you're going to chase him away from this club. There's
no way he's extended his contract.
Aye.
Yeah, away from these fucking weirdos.
Going to go join a nunnery.
When
I just wanted to give him a taste of home. He's on the other side of the planet.
A literal taste.
Don't say taste,
to be fair, we contemplated when we were speaking to Joe Shaughnessy, we contemplated telling him what a bird bath was, and Alex Grieve was disappointed that no one had offered them yet, but we shat it. Maybe next time. I'm sure there's at least one player out there listening to this that will have to ask Alex Grieve what a bird bath is.
Hope they don't.
I've already asked him in person. I hope no one ever mentions it to him ever again.
Oh, well, that's going to start a thing, isn't it? Seed Hill Saint Following on with this tone, would you rather watch Charlie Adam every time he made Sweet Love, or do him once and get it over with?
I think I'd watch, to be honest, just out of curiosity. I want to see what that's like. Just
right.
If his football style's anything to go with, he'll just spend a lot of time kind of lethargically moping around the middle and then just lob one in from 35 yards. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I replied back to the tweet and I said it was an easy answer, and as I'd join in. I don't think I could watch that.
You've been waiting for an opportunity to shag Charlie Adam for years right now.
I know, but just he's got a decent arse. Like, just get it done and get it out of the way. Like,
I mean, it does. Like, there's not parameters on this where joining in, what that means having. It just says joining in. It doesn't mean you technically have to have sex with Charlie Adam. And
I'd imagine that is what it means. And you just need to stomach it.
But the other thing is, you might end up joining in just by watching, because if you give his last performance, he's happy to hand you things on a plate.
Hey.
Thank you.
I think also going by the wording, like sometimes these are worded like, would you rather watch him have sex every day or whatever? It just says, would you rather watch him every time he makes Sweet Love? And I would go by his athletic ability. He's probably like Christmas Eve and his birthday, and doesn't really bother his arse. Yeah, and both of the Queen's birthdays. So that's just what you're essentially, the question is, would you watch Charlie Adam get his hole 4 times a year or pump him? And I would probably watch him 4 times a year.
I'd watch him, yeah.
I mean,
he's a bit of an artist, isn't he? Like,
it doesn't say that we can't record it. Like, you could record it and sell a wee niche to, like, the Charlie Adam. I'm sure there's people out there that will pay to see Charlie Adam have sex.
We could do punditry on it.
Sell it,
and in 5 years. I'm gonna say 5 years later, you're left with Keeping Up with the Adamses as a reality show built on the back of a sex tape.
Yeah, like, we'll literally just put it on OnlyFans. That's it.
Only cheers.
Fucking awful, man.
And on the same, we're just going to keep it this same level for a bit. Robbie Herbison, you're 1 inch.
Very confused young man.
Yeah, you're 1 inch inside Charlie Adam, and Lee Griffiths is 1 inch inside of you. Do you go forward or do you go backwards?
Robbie Herbison is clearly a fucked up individual.
I think he needs to go to church or something.
I think the wee man needs Jesus.
He works in the gantry if you want to go and give him this answer to his face.
Citizens arrest him.
Aye.
Said if you go in there, you can just give him an answer to that instead of paying for your pint, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Jason from the gantry agreed. I heard it.
Yeah, he signed off on it.
Citizens arrest.
As long as you're not buying those Paisley Parton cans in there.
Yeah,
fuck 2 times down. Yeah, I think Robbie needs a fucking exorcism, to be honest. That's a shocking question. That is really bad.
If anything, this is Ross Davidson's fault for he lowered the bar in the last mailbag episode, which he also didn't turn up for.
Yeah, no wonder after asking that. Like,
I think
I'm not answering. I can't answer this. I can't. Like, I've just said I'd do Charlie Adams. So I'm like, yeah.
So you're going forward then? It? That's the.
Yeah, fuck it, go forward. Like, aye.
Yeah.
And I think, was it Mark that you said? Someone said on Twitter that we're not in Lee Griffiths' age category, so it wouldn't ever be an issue.
It was not me that said it, but I stand by
it. Back to Chris Daly. Dogs or cats, and why? I mean, this is clearly easy. Dogs.
Yeah.
Cats.
Yeah, fuck off the podcast.
This is the thing that's going to get me. Never mind just dozens of other terrible performances in a podcast. This is what's going to get me chucked. It's cats. It's all day.
It's not though.
So.
Would you? Here's my reason why. Would you ever get a cat joining the police? You wouldn't. You get Polish dogs. That's why cats are cooler, because they're comrades.
Another way to put that: dogs are sound enough to get jobs, and cats are layabouts. I just couldn't be more wrong. It's such a heart and hand answer to give.
But can you take your cat out a walk?
You get people.
You can if you want. You get weird looks in Mary Hill, as I found out, but you can if you want.
I thought Mary Hill would be right up. Mary Hill was right into that scene.
Do you put it on a lead?
It's like a harness.
Nah, cats are fucking weird, man. Like, they constantly just like you'll like go out and you'll always see like cats just staring at you. Like, wee dogs will maybe walk past you, clap their head, and they'll move on. Like, cats are creepy animals.
Because dogs are needy.
Nah, dogs are great.
If I'm going to pay for an animal to like live with me and like just pay for its lifestyle and all that, well, it contributes nothing. You're damn right. I want it to be needy. I want affection. I want it to acknowledge that I'm doing that. Whereas a cat very much has that air of, well, of course you're doing that for me. Mm-hmm. Get it up you. Why would you not?
A cat has the air of, if you die, I will wait 13 seconds before I eat the face off you, and I kind of respect that.
Also, and dogs wouldn't do that.
Aye, like see when you see those,
lie down next to your corpse.
Yeah, like see those like pictures you see of like dogs lying on people's graves and all that because they're sad. Like,
aye,
dogs are awesome. Like cat,
Futurama.
Like you're. I know that. Imagine that Futurama scene, right? And we all know what scene we're talking about. Imagine that scene replaced with a cat. The cat would have fucked off after 2 seconds, and no one would have had a tear in their eye.
There's no Greyfriars Tabby.
That's true.
They're very strange.
They wreck your house. I've been see every cat owner's house you go into. They always go, "Oh, sorry about the wallpaper. It's the cat that scratched it," or the couch is all fucked up in the end. You don't get that for dogs.
I reckon the percentage of people who would have like live, laugh, love type things up in the house, or like home is where the Wi-Fi connects automatically. It's gin o'clock somewhere. All that kind of pish. I would say that the percentage of those people who have cats is about 95%.
I would respond to that by saying that it is gin o'clock somewhere, though, to be fair.
You make a good point.
Teardrop gin o'clock.
Cats are legends. End of.
Cats are shit. Dogs are better. 3-1.
3-1 there, aye. So yeah, Mary Hill.
Best of luck in your future endeavours.
Although, in fairness, Richard Tate's 2 cats are very cute.
They are.
But how cute would they be if they were dogs?
I know, if he had 2 wee sausage dogs.
Exactly.
Like
he is primed for that. That's aye.
Kyle McAllister has a lovely dog.
Well, you've got Kyle McAllister, I've got Richard Tate, and I'm happy with that in terms of this argument.
Yeah, I'd rather be on the Kyle McAllister side on this occasion.
Peter Lovenkran's dog's going to grow up to play for Rangers. So. Moving on. Paul XLVII, which I guess is a Roman numeral for 40 something. I can't remember my Roman numerals.
Look, we've just learned what haikus are. Don't make us do Roman numerals already.
Nah, that's too much.
Bringing only one Saints player from your lifetime at his absolute peak into the squad today, who would you choose? This is your
not Dougie Somner.
Well, he's not from your lifetime.
He's not from my lifetime, and he's shit and scored half his goals against fucking Dumbarton and he's Stirlingshire. But I reckon from my lifetime, probably Stevie Thompson.
Especially
which one?
I was going to say the good one, but that's incredibly harsh on wee Stevie Thompson. But nah, Big Tom, this current team needs a striker.
And it does say absolute peak, so like it would have been even like we got him at a really good period. Like he scored a lot of goals, but can you imagine if we got him when he was a bit younger?
To be fair, I actually think that his best goal scoring seasons were actually with us.
It was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tomo all day long, man.
I'd have to go for the Ghanaian Cafu, Mo Kamara.
I mean, at his peak.
Now there's a man who can foul a throw.
Get Randy shoelaces were tagged together.
What a footballer! Every day of the week. I'm not going to give you a serious answer. I want Mo Kamara.
I'm trying to think of players that I've seen play first at Murn and then go on to do better elsewhere. And the obvious answer is John McGinn, but I don't really want to say that.
It's boring, isn't it?
I think Kenny McLean's peak was at St Mirren, to be honest.
Eric Jemba.
I think Jemba. Man United Jemba.
I like.
We can all lick our hats out again.
Fucking Mark. I mean, Charlie Adam at his peak.
I don't think he'll come after what we've said about him.
No.
Well,
no.
Yeah, we'll be taking him a
couple of weeks. You don't really know what he's into. You need to sign up to his OnlyFans for that, which is coming very soon.
Queen's get 2 birthdays, man. I think he might.
Yeah, well, I mean, even like, I'm trying to think in my lifetime, Simon Lappin.
Oof, that's a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Wray.
Oh, Christopher Wray in his peak, early Arsenal days.
And Andy Dorman.
Anton Ferdinand.
Anton Ferdinand in his peak, actually, is a brilliant shout.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Friend of the show, Anton Ferdinand.
Yeah, future interviewee.
There's actually quite a few, like Mark Howard. I mean, I would have Mark Howard by fucking now. I'm ready to sign Trevor Carson. Played of the year at Carlisle, but not good enough to come back up the road here.
I mean, he's looking for a club, clearly. But I think on that note, we will be back after this.
Hi, I'm goalkeeper Mark Howard, and you're listening to Misery Hunters. Fuck Sam Smith.
Your opinion still the same, Sam?
It's always going to be the same.
I mean, you're just happy you know he knows you exist, and that's quite a...
Well, I was even happier when he DM'd you saying, "Are you the fuck Sam Smith geezer?"
I mean, I see if my childhood hero Mark Yardley said "fuck Jake," like just that would blow my mind if he knew I existed.
And follows me on Instagram though. So I've ended up the winner out of this.
Until you're followed by Billy Mehmet, then I don't know what you've got much of a claim to. So,
Scotia Johnson has asked. He's got 2 questions. When is Sam Smith going to chuck the Fosters?
They've been chucked. They were the. I'm in disbelief at how bad that shop at Mabbit is. Like, I probably should have just walked 5 minutes further up the road to the V1 at Temple, but like that Annie's Land Premier, the fact that it's open 7 till 7 every single day. If you were choking for a few cans late at night, you can't. Like after 8 o'clock, you're maybe sitting there, I could go a few can. You can't because it's shut. It never has anything in it. Cans of Coke are £1. Like, it's just shit, and the fact that the only cold beer they had that day was Foster's makes it even worse. Shit fucking beer, man.
That's because you've now got an educated palate, because an evening in my shop, you've realised that you like sour beers and you were a big fan of Das's Techno Six.
Aye, that stuff is very good and much better than Foster's.
And you liked Fault City's Iron Brew Sour. So, I mean, it seems there's a pattern here that you like sour beers.
I just need to take out a mortgage, I think, if I was going to take it up full time.
Not that expensive.
Nah, that was tongue in cheek. Sour beers are great.
I agree.
How much is he paying you, Sam?
He just texted me there saying, "Watch your fucking mouth."
Yeah, because of me, Mark Howard now follows you on Instagram. So,
you've opened a lot of doors for me.
And the second part of Scotia's question is, when is the governor, a bit of push, Ross Davidson coming back? He says it's going to be the start of next season. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it.
There's a bit of the Derek superfans about that. Who's been retiring the makeup every season since we moved to Greenhill Road. Ross has said he's coming back at the start of the season every year. And here we are. I'll believe it when I see it. In fact, I'll fight him on the first episode back.
And
pink slip match.
And mentioning Derek Superfan, DJ Chapsticks asks, you get to guarantee St Mirren achieving European football in 22-23 through the league placing and a cup run. However, you need to spend every game, home and away, sat between shouty women and Superfan to guarantee it. No earplugs allowed.
I reckon you're taking that. I do worse actually. See St Mirren play in Europe. I'd probably do the things I said about Charlie Adam again to Europe. So
you would do it to shouty women and Derek Superfan?
No.
To get into Europe?
To get into Europe, no. I think that's a step too far for a guy like me with no morals.
I'd take it. St Mirren in Europe and 2 new pals. I'm all for it.
Is this including, like, if you were to go to away games, you would need to sit with them on the bus?
I agree. Yeah, you need to arrange travel with them. You're almost like a wee travel.
Nah, I don't know if that would do it.
When we go to Europe, when we play away in Europe, does that still count?
Yeah.
No, fuck that. No.
Accommodation, hotels, will be.
You can accommodate. There'll be 2 rooms. You can either share with Derek, or you can share with Shouty Woman. She might shout in her sleep.
Or sleep in the pool.
Or sleep.
Face down.
Michael Barrymore style.
Oh.
That's a mental question. That is nuts.
I'm going to flip this question round. What wouldn't you do in order to see someone play in Europe for a season?
Isn't much, to be fair.
There isn't
it's
much.
a pretty short list, to be honest.
I wouldn't unblock the pirate on Twitter.
Yeah.
I saw him today. I was about to tell you what car he drives for people who
Get you ready,
if you want to warn your children to stay away from that kind of car. But
I'm sure I've seen him driving about with like the big skull and crossbones flag on top of his car. But,
his car's called the Black Pearl.
Right, moving on. Rod Gray asks, in which aisle of Asda Linwood will Stevie Malin be spotted shortly before signing his triumphant European qualifying return to Saints?
Johnny Ayo next.
Well, I was going to be close. I'd either be the fake tan or like the teeth whitening bit.
Or the hair remover. That boy's not got a lick of hair below the neck, you know that?
Oh.
So, I
reckon... I was going to say something awful there. I can't say that.
I think it's the episode for it if previous questions had to go by.
Nah, trust me, I can't.
Desperately putting wheels back on this podcast.
The moral compass is severely shifted.
When was the last time that happened? Because that was like a thing that people would genuinely...
They used to always say Charlie Miller. That was always the one that was seen in Asda Linwood.
Robbie Winters.
Mm-hmm. Robbie Winters.
Why the fuck did he go to Asda Linwood?
To see Paul the Temp.
I saw Paul Slane in Asda Linwood, and I have no idea why he was there.
That makes no sense because he's at fucking Mirren Andrews.
And fucking Paul the Tim did come over and shook his hand. So
got a photo to prove that he was there.
But yeah, so are we just saying he's going to be in some sort of pharmaceutical aisle?
Aye.
He's a good looking boy. No, does what he wants.
Shagla.
I was nearly going to say something else as well that's probably down the same lines as Sam, but moving on. Gadface. Do you prefer this? This is really back on point. Do you remember
Johnny next?
Do you prefer the small squad with versatile players model that Jim always is going with, or the big squad with a few undroppable key players, the rest fairly interchangeable like Lennon or Ross, or more comfortable with, and seems like Robbo may go that way? I'd probably say the bigger squad. Like, we've kind of seen what happens with a bare bones squad. It's probably why we never really got over the line for the top 6 2 seasons in a row, is because once we've got an injury, you're putting in like square pegs and round holes trying to get by.
I think both the past couple of seasons, it's been that sort of period between kind of February, early March, where we've really missed the opportunities to take a top 6, and we've been 1 or 2 inches away from being like absolutely decimated. We've got versatile players like Ryan Flynn, Richard Tate, but can only ask so much of them. And yeah, we're a couple of injuries or illnesses away from absolute bare bones, like playing the kids again. So it's a pretty easy answer for me. The big squad, you can compete in multiple fronts. You've got more chance of going deep in a cup, which I think is our kind of ultimate aim. So get them all in, see what happens.
I think even in, like, it wasn't even just the last 2 seasons. I think it was like the first season, like the fact that we had to play. I mean, Ryan Flynn played right back for 6 or 7 games. Paul McGinn played left back, centre half. We had to call up Scott Glover. Like, there was a few. It was just like players playing. Cameron McPherson played a few games at right back as well. Like, we were all over the shop.
I think Paul McGinn played every role in a back 5.
Mm-hmm.
You'd rather just have a bigger squad where like like we said, like a few undroppable players, which is fine. Like every team should have that. Every team does have a core of that. Like you see it at Rangers, you see it at Celtic. Like there's guys that don't get dropped. Like even Hibs, Hearts, like guys like Suter, Biringame, Devlin, like they don't get dropped. And you kind of model your team around them rather than kind of trying to have a smaller squad with more like jack of all trades. Like you need to have guys who are specialists in their position, I think.
I think as well with the football that we can kind of expect Robinson to play, it's going to be more attacking and maybe more intense than Goodwin has done. So it's going to require more physically. Like if you're asking a boy to run himself out in the ground, maybe you will only get 70 minutes out of them and then you have to make a change. So to have strength and depth where you can kind of continue that and switch formations even as and when needed, I can only be a good thing. I think not to just like throw shit at Jim Goodwin, but I think quite often there was a bit of a lack of a plan B, and when plan A didn't work, we were absolutely fucked, just trying the same things, not working. So the more players we have, the more options we have, the more formations we can play. It's pretty simple.
Gary Williamson has asked, when we make a European spot this season, who is your ideal opponent / destination?
I just want there to be a flight to get there. That's all I want. I just want to have to get my passport out.
I've always said, like, if you're going to go to Europe, like, realistically, you're going to win it, are you? Like, we've got no chance of winning it. So I reckon you want the biggest team in it, and preferably like a warm country. Like, imagine you were going in, like, I mean, Hearts in the playoff round for the Europa League can get like the 4th place team in Spain. Like, they can get some very decent trips. Like, I think they can get like Sporting Lisbon as well. Yeah. Imagine getting one of them away from home. Like,
be good. Imagine seeing St Mirren play at the Mestalla or something like that.
I know you might get absolutely rolled 6 or 7-0, but you're there for the experience.
All I want is just to be steaming in like a town square in a St Mirren retro shirt. I don't care about, like you said, the game is by the by. It's the experience of being a part of that, and just getting a stupid sunny trip. That's the dream.
Even I don't even think even sun needs to be that. See if you got like a Belgian team or something like that, where like, the beer's just outstanding, or like you get a team in Hungary. Like Hungary have these places called ruin bars that are literally like bars built into what said ruins, and like fucking that'd be excellent. Just something like that, and then you go watch a football game, but you're steaming in a square. That's literally it.
Or Red Star Belgrade for a laugh.
Or something fucking
mental.
You need a little bit of fear in there. Just like, holy fuck, I'm going to get stabbed, aren't I?
Try and steal a drum
Super
now.
fans not coming home.
Watch a few guys who like to blur their trainers out try and steal a fucking drum or a flag. And come home in a coffin with a fucking corner of blood or some shit.
Did be hanging Derek Superfan upside down rather than flags? I think if someone went abroad somewhere like that. I remember seeing that. I think it was when Liverpool went to, was it Ukraine when they won the Champions League when the final was in Kiev, and like the Dynamo Kiev ultras hung like a wee scouser upside down like he was a wee fish, like they were just holding.
I think you want one end of the spectrum or the other, don't you? You just don't want the kind of middle ground stuff. You either want to go and play the biggest team in the nicest or strangest city, or you want sent out to some outpost somewhere with like the worst team, and you want to go and play Lincoln Red Imps or something.
You want to end up flying on a plane that was clearly an ex-military thing, something that you feel like your life's at risk just getting there. You don't want fucking someone in Northern Ireland, which will be a decent trip, but it'll be disappointing. Yeah. Some fucking Welsh team, fucking Connacht's Nomads or whatever the fuck.
Motherwell going over to play Coleraine and all that. That's a pre-season tour.
Yeah.
For us, like you want something a bit exciting. I love all the stories about the Celtic fans getting the buses out to Azerbaijan when they played Shakhtar Karagandhi and Almaty and all them. I'm sure my boss told a story about a Celtic bus that was briefly in Iraq on its way to an away game because of the way the way the borders worked out. Like, sign me up for that. I'll take 2 weeks off work and 10 years off my life.
Yeah.
Only thing I'll ever be envious of the Old Firm is a European trip. That is it.
Yeah, Scandinavia would be class, right up to the top.
Fucking
like Boda, Glimt or Tromso or something, one of the proper Arctic Circle lads.
Getting lost steaming in a forest somewhere after the game and you just look up to the Northern Lights.
A game in Iceland where it's just light the entire time and you can walk home at 1 a.m.
Bump into Mark McCausland.
I'd even take like a half decent pre-season friendly, and then our pre-season friendlies are like at home to fucking Hartlepool.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that is actually official, by the way. That is happening now. But
we've got an island trip, don't we? So
it's just unfortunate. I think July could be the most expensive month in my life, and I can't afford to go. But
that's marching season for you, isn't it? The big ones.
My gran will go there tomorrow.
Spend a fortune on drum polish this time.
Robbie Collins again. If you could pick any St Mirren player coach to have a role in a movie, who are you picking and what movie are you picking?
That's a good question, actually.
I'd quite like Jim Goodwin to be literally anyone that gets wrapped up in a puzzle in the movie Saw.
Jim Goodwin and Snakes in a Plane, and he's one of the snakes.
I want to remake Basic Instinct with Joe Shaughnessy because of reasons that I'm not going to go into.
Just lifts his eyebrows and then you get full sight of his centre half.
I'd like to see did it say former or current?
Yeah, or coach as well.
Gary McKenzie is the Terminator.
Give me your clothes, your boots, and bail money to get myself out of this region of prison. So.
There's got to be some sort of like anti-police movie like starring Paul McGowan, but I can't think it. I'm not clever enough to think that quickly.
Or me.
Or Sam. Paul XLVII is back. What's your big team? Wrong answers only.
Irvin Meda.
Open goal, Broomhill.
Open
goal. Much history.
Open goal, Broomhill.
I think it's more embarrassing to be an open goal Broomhill fan, a Caledonian Braves fan. Are they the same thing?
Is that your local team, Sam?
I think that technically would be. Them or Maryhill, but I'd imagine Broomhill are closer.
Is it more embarrassing to support them or Celtic B?
Celtic B probably, because I think probably Tim goes and watches them quite a lot.
See the fucking open goal Broomhill fucking toilet, man. That's going to be coke heaven, innit? It's just going to be so many fucking coked out their nut guys, middle-aged men, brown shoes, fucking
lowest ever bar take for a night at the Hydro. That everyone did their shopping outside.
I think as well they're apparently going to be playing on Friday nights as well. So, but that is just asking for trouble. But my big team are open goal Broomhill, unfortunately, for my sins.
Mark McFadden asks, what superhero is most likely a Saints fan?
This was like one of the ones I should have done a bit of work for before we...
Tell you what, man, Mark McFadden is an excellent contributor to this podcast, aside from the fact he fucking hates Jim Goodwin, which is brilliant. He always asks good questions.
Daredevil's maybe a St Mirren fan because he's blind and doesn't have to watch it.
I was going to say like Deadpool because he's very self-referential, knows, and I'd imagine he'd be a big fan of Thomas Stickroth the way he's a big fan of George Michael. Same kind of hairstyle.
He's a handsome man.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is when I'm exposed for knowing absolutely fuck all about superheroes.
Do you not have a superhero tattoo?
If you gave me $1 million,
okay, let's just check
to put on true or false for you being a superhero fan, Andrew, I would have put it all on true. It's actually staggered me that you don't know anything about that.
Craig's got an Iron Man tattoo, and he's not even here.
Oh, I'm a big geek, to be fair, with that stuff.
To be fair, I once upon a time read lots of comics and they're all sitting in my cupboard and like It's far too hard to keep track of now.
I reckon Bruce Banner, probably. Like, we've got quite a lot of specky smart arse fans
that get angry over fucking literally nothing.
But Bruce Banner, they're fucking tea. In fact, I reckon Bruce Banner probably would run a supporters bus if he was a St Mirren fan. Like,
I was going to say something about Groot, and the fact that he can only say his name kind of shows the intelligence of some of our supporters. But do you not actually have a comic of it was a Rocket Raccoon comic, and the whole 20 odd pages, and I must be the sucker for buying it, is Groot telling a story. So it's just lots of panels that say I am Groot.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, Marvel have got everybody by the balls. That's what I'm saying.
In terms of absolutely ridiculous purchases, which you regret as soon as you've done them, that's up there with Kieran White buying 2 of our Alan Power t-shirts.
I know. Do you know, he came in the shop and I was like, you know, like, when I called you out, I wasn't 100% meaning it. You didn't actually have to go buy it. And he went, no, you held me accountable. It's fine.
Good guy.
Good effort. Yeah.
He's currently in LA, and he took the t-shirt with him. So I expect photos.
Good man. If we're talking about Kieran White, also a good follow on TikTok. He's a busker.
Mm-hmm.
Very solid with the guitar, playing Scottish tunes. I hope he's doing that in LA. Yeah. I hope he's out there playing Sam the Skull and all that nonsense to folk in LA who've got literally no idea what he's talking about.
He's also a lover of Das's Techno Sex as well, so he always buys a few cans.
Clearly a man of culture.
Saints fan 2004.
Second half of this question is an absolute mind blower.
If St Mirren start becoming a regular top 4 side, would you change your name from Misery Hunters? No, because
no,
we'd find something.
Like, I mean, this is 2 seasons in a row we've not been relegation candidates, and we're still fucking moaning. So I'm sure it'll be a moan. Why can't we get a goal scorer that can score over 12 goals?
That says Dougie Sumner was a good footballer.
Why don't St Mirren simply just sign a 20-goal a season striker?
I know, it's just so easy.
It's not like Liverpool just about to pay 100 million for a guy who's about to do exactly what people are asking for. But fucking St Mirren on the budget of 2 fucking cheese strings and a tenner a week can bring in a 20-goal a season striker. Fuck off.
In a league that the top goal scorer last year was 13 goals, we'll repeat that again. Because more people need to hear that fact before they start fucking writing on certain Facebook pages.
Aye, but Dougie Sumner.
Dumbarton, man.
Here's a t-shirt.
His superhero name.
Well, a t-shirt that just says I but Dougie Sumner.
Aye.
And the second part of this question is, who is most likely on the panel to recreate Ronan v Hearts? Now, I'm not...
This is like you try to describe a sloth running, by the way. I've looked at that sentence 5 times and I cannot work it out from one word to the next.
Who's right-footed? I'm left-footed.
So I'm right-footed, but I will say I have 0 footballing ability, but that doesn't mean my lack of worldies that I have scored where I didn't mean them. I've hit many a goal into the top corner, which was genuinely a cross. So yeah, I'd probably say me on that.
I think a lot of kind of Connor Ronan's worldies were just due to the fact that, like, he looks around, sees what's on the pitch and thinks, fuck that, I'm not passing this, I'll do it myself. In which case, yeah, I'd back myself to maybe get lucky. Mm-hmm. But I don't get me wrong, I'm way down in the pecking order of this podcast. I appreciate that, but
yeah, I haven't kicked a ball further than 10 yards since my teens, so
I mean, I
won't be signing myself up for that.
Since the last time I played football, I have dislocated both knees, so I have not kicked a ball since, so I have no chance of...
At the same time?
No, they were like 2 years apart.
Fucking hell.
2 years apart.
You were marking Ilkay Durmus.
Put
a cross in and he turned you. Dislocated both knees.
Both times not playing football or any sporting activity at all. One time I went to walk one way and my knee decided no. And the other time
the second one you were shagging Charlie Adam, weren't you? And it just popped.
Did you know?
I reckon.
You're a goalkeeper.
That's a mental question. In the last 6 games of the season I played, was taking a leaf right out of Chris Smith's fucking goal kick books because I was shanking every goal kick I hit out for a throw-in at the side of the pitch. Like, some of these were dreadful.
I mean, the promotion season, he was like our second top assist.
I mean, by reading Ronan versus Hearts, we're assuming he means the goals.
Well,
Who's
that's
most likely to create his straight red against Hearts in the
Me.
I could do that.
Yeah, I think
I
we
can,
I think
see
we
Sam,
could do
I
that.
can definitely see Sam two-footing somebody.
I had 2 foot. Is it Gary Mackay-Steven or was it Andy Halliday or am I just watching
Benny
Mackay Stephen.
Was it not?
It was. Yeah, Marcus Fraser hit Mackay Stephen.
I don't really want to tackle Beninghamini, but I would have absolutely loved to have two-footed Andy Halliday at hip height.
Beninghamini is the noise you make when you do the 2-foot. It sounds like a good, like.
That's a great dad joke.
No,
Yes.
no,
That's
I don't
worthy
mean,
of the Facebook page.
it sounds like a good thing to shout while you hit someone.
That's a Tony Black special.
It sounds like a very like satisfying thing to say. No,
Yeah, absolutely. Beninghamini made that up in
I
the
reckon
corner.
I'm definitely taking the one that I'd be most likely to do his red. I'm a fucking horrible, nasty bastard in tackles.
I know you're putting yourself down as well, Sam, but you're the only one, I think, out of the 4 of us who's absolutely guaranteed that he can kick a ball as far as Ronan did when he scored. So I think you're most likely on both.
and you're probably the only person out here that could last 90 minutes running about. I mean, I don't like. I'm saying that myself. I'm not saying that for Andrew or Mark. They may be very athletic. I don't know. I've never seen them run.
Nope. I was going to say I had a solid 90 seconds in me, but even then I think I'd be gassed. I've got more of a Charlie Adam fitness level. I've got a kind of good 10-15 seconds.
So Bob C, he's asked a few questions. Will we install a second screen for VAR? Probably.
No.
Don't know.
I don't think.
Why would you put a second screen on? So what's that all about?
Will we sign Gogic? Probably not.
No.
Nah,
Can't see
Yes.
I think that's past.
Fucking
Gonna sign that
please,
Belgian
man.
guy
The
with the 5
fact
first names.
that the fact that we're signing or
Nah,
looking at signing
just-
the Belgian dude.
Aye.
Believe.
I-
And just shut up the freeze. Just fucking believe a wee bit, guys. He's signing.
I mean, Gogic should be the priority. Like, I'd be happy if we got him and made no more signings. But
So
I think if he was getting, I don't know, the kind of cynic in me thinks if he was going to sign, he'd have signed by now.
yeah.
Well,
Despite
he's
my
on
neck-
international duty, so
Aye, true, actually, yeah.
leave him be.
Why didn't we sign Isma? I mean, I think the pregnancy rate numbers in Paisley the last time he was here was probably enough. Is he far away enough in Livingston for that not to catch up with him?
I
No,
think he's been playing the division below Alex Grieve in New Zealand for the last 6 years as well. So
Will there be more new pie flavours next year? Yeah, I think there will be.
yeah, they do
Aye.
a pie of the month.
And the last question is, can we get an all-black third kit in honour of Alex Grieve, and also it was the finest away kit back in the 90s? Well,
try an all black awake yet.
Second kit, motherfucker.
I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised by this season's away kit. That's all.
Hashtag Scott Burns.
I suggest you get a better source.
I love that he said that to us when we had like the best source like possible with that situation.
Aye.
And
I don't mean to
Speaking
talk
of-
out of school and give sources away, but Scott Burns phoned me and told me it was an all black away kit.
Speaking about Scott Burns, he thinks that Jack Ross is going to be the United manager.
why was
Aye,
that?
Cam Court's away to Croatia or something, isn't
Has he
it?
been
Right.
reading my WhatsApp?
That's a weird one.
Rijeka, fucking no idea how
Oh, I
to say
didn't
their name.
realise you spoke Croatian, so Jesus Christ.
So, Herbie Senior? I can't even speak anymore. We've been talking for an hour, rightly now. I've had no dinner and I drank a beer. Herbie Senior, who'd win? This is Robbie Herberson's dad, by the way. Who'd win in a drunken bar brawl between Robbo, Goody, and Jack Ross? I'd have Robbo on this.
See, I
I
think
think Robbo can go. Like, he's got that like sort of wee man, like that can fucking go a wee bit. Aye.
He's got marching strength.
And I think Goody's main hard man power came from the fact that he was bald, but now he's got hair. I don't think he's as hard as we thought he
See,
was.
I think they were all quite hard in their day, but if we're talking drunken bar brawls, I think they're all a bit kind of smart shoes in a wine bar now to be indulging in that kind of. So I think the answer is Davy Martindale.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Jack Ross is kind of Randall from Recess. In that scenario, he's away grassing into Willie Collum in the next pub about what's happening.
I reckon to get Jack Ross out of the fight, you throw whatever brightly coloured drink is closest to you towards his beige, light blue blazer that he's probably wearing.
I'll just chuck a £20 note out the door and watch him follow it.
Beat him.
I think good one will be fucking wrestling on it.
In fact, that's what you do. Robbo just chucks 20 quid on the floor. Goody and Jack Ross knock themselves out.
I'm just going to start quick firing for this because we've not got many left, but we are over an hour. Ray England, who would win in a fight, Curtis Main or Peter Orminsky? You've got to back this. This like that sort of area. Like if you've seen the movie Rock and Roller, these guys have been through some shit.
I think Peter Orminsky's got the kind of face that it's the last thing you see before you wake up as part of a human centipede. He's got there's madness in those eyes. Like he's all day.
He looks like one of those boys that does MMA in full knight's armour on YouTube.
Curtis Main's got the vanity muscles, but Peter Orminsky's get the madness.
Peter Orminsky runs and he gets on like a bike in the gym and there's like a fucking big sword waving about. You're like, what is that guy training for?
A sword that he brings from home.
All those videos that were kicking about of the farmers and like Mariupol and all that, who were just picking up landmines with their bare hands and chucking them off to the side of the road. Orminsky's got that kind of mad look in him. He's the what's the goalie in the Mean Machine called?
Oh, the monk
the monk guy. Orminsky's kind of get that about him. I would back Orminsky to get to the Hearts player in the centre circle quicker than Conor Ronan did if he wanted to.
God, I was going to say we'll try and quickfire these, but this seems like quite a long question. Andy Masson?
This is the shortest question ever, by the way.
Aye.
Someone answered it on Twitter.
Oh, did they? I don't even. If they stay, because Sir Alex Ferguson. If they had stayed until being sacked or retired, which of our previous managers would have had the most success with us and why? But would Sir Alex have been successful with St Mirren?
Of course he fucking would have. He's the best manager ever.
The best manager of all time. And he'd already got us to third in the league. No, it'd have been shite. Would have been back down.
Try to create some sort of debate here. Come on, someone.
Tommy Craig.
Try to play devil's advocate. Tommy Craig.
Tommy Craig. We'd have 100% won League Two if we kept Tommy Craig in charge. We'd have won the Lowland League at some point.
Jack LFC. Would you rather Shouty Woman is inducted to the Billy Mehmet Hall of Fame or have to sit in front of her for a full season? I mean, we have a notable villain area, so
I think she goes in for cult hero personally.
Oh, well.
There's a soundproofed booth in the Billy Mehmet Hall of Fame, so we might be alright.
If you want to know what the Billy Mehmet Hall of Fame is, like, you know, the collector from like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like that. You'll also find Howard the Duck in there. This isn't
and Stevie Thompson.
Is that where he's off to now?
That sounds like more comic book shite to me.
He secretly loves it. That's the thing. He's just kidding on. He's like, this is my moment to be cool.
Aye.
Kevin Finnerty. I mean, this isn't even a question, is it? It just says Andrew Christie's opinion on Alex Gogic never pulling up his socks to his knees. My God, that is annoying. It's a statement.
Well, this is my mate Sean. So hi, Sean. But he's socks are
Sopranos fan.
I feel like Gogic is like the quintessential cult player, and cult players need a wee bit of that. Like you've got Edgar Davids glasses, you've got that hungry keeper that used to always wear the grey joggies. Was it Corrali?
Yeah.
Corrali.
Patrick Vieira with the mad Vicks Vapor rubbing his chest. Like cult players have little quirks, and Gogic is a cult player, so I go for it. Looks cool.
Cool.
Nice shins.
Gabber
Someday I'll speak.
No, I want to talk about Gabber Corelli for as long as possible. What a man. The only professional footballer ever to have an endorsement deal with Lonsdale Jobby Catchers.
And last question. Callum Armstrong. Best player you've seen play against the Saints outside the old firm? I mean,
were any of you at the Newcastle friendly?
I was, yeah.
Papi Cisse in that game, honestly, it looked like R9. That was unreal.
Outside the Old Firm.
I would say David Villa, even though Jim Goodwood did not make him. So.
That's true. I forgot I'd seen David Villa play.
I think Callum Armstrong's kind of answered that for me in the question where he references Eremenko. That's probably the best.
See, when I was working for
some of the best performances I've seen against us.
I had a guy who was a football agent. I can't remember his name, and he gave me his phone to get his contacts over to another phone, and his top contact was Alexei Eremenko. And I very, very nearly was like, should I just break all data protection laws here and write down this number? But I didn't.
Stuart Armstrong, it's like a good shout for when he was at United. He was amazing.
I was at the Tommy Gravison hat trick game. I need to give Tommy Gravison a bit of a.
I mean, see when
part of Real Madrid's midfield
when we were in the first division and we played Celtic in the cup. Henrik Larsson had an absolute great game that time, but it would have been overshadowed by Martin Cameron. Oh yeah, outside the Old Firm. Sorry.
Yeah, Henrik Larsson was my overall answer, but outside the Old Firm.
But Martin Cameron in that game, if he didn't go off injured, we would have won that game, and that's a fact. I'm trying to think outside the Old Firm. I would say David Villa. I mean, that seems like a cop out.
That Dundee United team that had Armstrong, Robertson, Gold, Chief for that short period where he was an absolute world beater, and Mackay Stephen, all of them were ridiculous for quite a short space of time.
I mean, Mark O'Hara when he played against us with Motherwell, and now he's with us.
There was one game where Mark O'Hara absolutely ruined us in Paisley, wasn't there?
Aye.
Turnbull as well, actually, in that evening game, that 3-0, Turnbull was just ridiculous. He was playing for Motherwell at the time, so I'm counting that.
Yeah. Any more did any other questions come in after that? That was the last one I've got.
I don't think so.
The last thing in my mentions is Simeon Jackson. Oh yeah, there was a question.
Oh yeah,
Saints have a last minute of this. Last minute penalty at 0-0 in a cup final. You can choose any player from the last 10 years to take the kick, but Jamie McGrath is sitting on the bench at Wigan. Who's stepping up?
There's a right answer for this, and it's I actually get slaughtered for this off of somebody not that long. I think it was one of my pals. I genuinely think the best penalty taker I've ever seen for St Mirren in Scotland is Kenny McLean. He absolutely fucking lasers penalties into the corner for the club and country. I'd have him on it every day of the week, man.
I know we had John Sutton later on in his career within the 10-year period. I don't really remember him taking penalties within the last 10 years, but when the other side of that 10-year mark, I don't ever remember him missing a penalty for us. I remember him scoring one against Rangers as well.
I'd have Tony Andre.
It's the only thing he's good at.
Wow. He was fucking bad at penalties.
Did he not Simeon Jackson one over the bar?
He fucked over the bar against Motherwell in that shootout before each game. And then maybe like a month previous, we had a chance to equalise against Aberdeen in the last minute. And he arrowed it straight at Joe Lewis.
I always thought Stevie Thompson would be a better penalty taker, but I think he missed every one he took for us.
He was an absolutely shite penalty taker.
He missed one at Dunfermline as well.
And you could tell he scored one the week before he played Rangers, and he missed that one. He scored one against Berwick. But then the season before, I think 3 of his 5 goals were penalties. But you could just tell every time he went up to hit the ball, he didn't look like a footballer.
Mm-hmm.
Look, for a guy who is as good a striker as he was for us, his technique was absolutely shite when it came to penalties.
Who scored in the Dundee United playoff? Stephen McGinn?
Mm-hmm.
No, Danny Mullen.
No, the penalty.
Paul McGinn.
Paul McGinn scored against Kelly as well.
Popescu.
Yeah.
Paul McGinn, Popescu, Muzek missed. We only hit. Yeah, we only.
They missed every one of those, so we wouldn't have taken.
We'd have to have scored 3.
Aye.
Who was the other one? Fuck, that would have been a great game.
Oh, I'll jot that down for whenever the Hall of Fame dies on its arse.
Aye.
Famous penalty shoutouts with Sam Smith.
But yeah, we'll call it that. Miseryhunters.co.uk. You can go buy merch and all that from there. I'm sure we'll have another t-shirt planned at some point. So keep your eyes out for that. And, you know, I'm going to end it with fuck Sam Smith.
Oh, right. Fuck Lorraine Kelly.
Fuck Dougie Sumner.
Oofed. Fuck Alex Ray.